Hi, sir. A very good evening, and thank you so much for giving us time. Welcome to the interview series Breaking the Pattern. The agenda is to help young professionals who are navigating the field of insurance and finance, and we want to understand from your journey what all we can learn from it. So, I'll start with the most simple yet most difficult question. As an actuary, how do you explain to your relatives what do you do for a living?
So first of all, thank you, Aman, for the invite. I don't explain that I am an actuary. I never say that I am an actuary. All I say is that I work in insurance. Then usually the next question people will say that ask me about whether it is, they will say something about like my motor policy or health policy, or usually start with the life insurance box. People think insurance is life insurance, LIC. So only if someone specifically asks me, I said, Kari, I'm not into distribution. I'm not into the policy issuance and not. I'm into core. Then most of the people will leave the discussion in that point. Somebody who closely asks me, then I say I am into like determining the premium, how much premium you pay, and the person who determines that. So maybe less than 1% people will know that there is a core team that sits in an insurance company doing this business. Then it goes. But it's rather, even after say 20 years into this profession, I find it really difficult to explain to people that I'm an actuary.
Great. Okay, so we'll come to the actuarial journey, but we'll step back towards how you've come to where you have. So I'll go back to when you were starting your journey during your BTech. So you've done engineering and then you entered the power and nuclear energy. Today it feels very intimidating. I feel that time it would be even more misunderstood, the entire power space, nuclear space, and there was much more restrictions. So can you tell us how did you enter that space? What was the transition and what did the entire regulatory space of nuclear and energy look like that back then?
You asked me the question. There is no clear-cut answer to it because we were engineers when I passed in 1991. Getting a job was not that easy. Private sector was not the one that I would say the jobs were very few in private sector. Only thing is that every year all these public sector companies used to conduct all India entrance exams and tests, and followed by interviews. So that is how I came into nuclear industry. I'm an electrical engineer. I was very passionate about power systems and transformers. Whenever I see a huge transformer or a power line, I used to stand there and see how that was my admiration for that thing. So that is how I got into power sector. We didn't have much of a choice. I just got into it. That was my first interview. I cleared it. And I remember there was no test entrance exam by NPCL. NPCL was just born about 3 years back, I think, 87 or so. We were the third batch of engineers recruited. So there were 2 interviews. I came from Kerala. So first interview was in Chennai. Second interview happened in Bombay. I was very passionate about the subject. After clearing the interview, I was more or less sure that I would get selected and I got into the...
Since you were very interested in the entire mechanical engineering and electrical engineering space, why did you move to software engineering? And then, of course, we'll talk about actuarial science, but how did that happen?
Actually, that was not because of any professional reason. There was some pressing reason at home that I need to move to my hometown. So when I moved to my hometown, it was again, I didn't plan into getting into IT. So IT was also booming at that time. That was
right.
96.
The Infosys, that was the...
So 95, 96. And internet was something very new. So I had actually joined a couple of my friends. I would say, if I can use that word, I became an entrepreneur at that point. So okay, that is how I got into the... We were actually pioneers in bringing networking training into my hometown, that is Cochin.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that is how I went into that.
So can you elaborate when you say you were a little bit on the entrepreneurial side when you entered this? So you said that there was a particular need for which you wanted to move back to your hometown. Yeah. So firstly, even when you want to move, let's say I want to move today to a different city. Today I have AI, so I can probably code easily. But I'm sure that time the entire training transfer, knowledge transfer was not as easy as it is today. So how did you firstly learn the skills that were needed, and secondly get people, like convince people to hire?
No, they were my friends. They were already into business. So they were starting a new venture. They just asked me whether I can come. And I was looking for moving to my hometown, my Squatches. I moved with them, actually invested a little bit of my savings also into that.
That is 1995, then you are talking now.
Actually, that venture was not successful because, like you said, it was very difficult. Someone from Bangalore has to come. I got certified in novel network. Then I became an MCSE, as Microsoft Certified Systems, So we used to have a training center over there. I've done a lot of work in this field. Then I went into software because at that time there was a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
It was not any like the students do nowadays. They go and study somewhere. It was all self-learning. You used to sit and study and then do the work.
Yeah. Trying to figure out as in when you get the problem. So, okay. So in that case, I think you already made a transition, and I can see that you have that risk-taking appetite from leaving a job to investing in a business. So I think that actuarial would come in naturally to you. But I want to understand back in the days, like when you started joining the actuarial space, the act was not established. The Actuaries Act. So how did you enter the actuarial space after?
No, see, I would say it all happened. I just followed my passion. That is what that I would use. I was so fond of analytical, doing many things, analytical things. So when computer came, still remember the days when there was a 1 GB Bigfoot hard disk which used to keep fit. All this first big machines and all. I just moved into that. I won't say we were not very career conscious and all.
Right.
So we just flowed with the stream. So it happened it that way. I was least bothered to leave my job, even at the time in 1996, when getting a job itself was difficult. I just quit my NPCIL. Most of my batch mates are heading different power plants in India. Power plants in India. Only advantage that I had was, I don't know, God bless, whatever exam I used to write, I used to pass. That is how I became a novel certification. I also held a Microsoft certification, Microsoft MCSE.
This is certification.
So that is how I became this thing. But the joint venture, entrepreneurship, was not a success actually. We all lost money. Right? And I was not in a position to quit my hometown and go elsewhere.
Okay.
Naturally moved into software. Won't believe I have prepared the software for clinics, for the doctors too.
Right.
And the outlook that you see now, whatever you see in your outlook, you just put those appointments and all these things. Those things I have generated it myself in Visual Basic and C. So one day one doctor told me, Sateesh, you see this? I have this gloves and all in my hand. I can't go and click every time. I just need to do something with one click. So I just I have an appointment, managing his appointments. So just put it, drag it and drop it here. So those things I have done at that point in time. Getting software is also a dip. It's not all the PC. Now you download.
Yeah.
That time you want to get something from Microsoft software, you have to get it in a CD.
Yeah.
And many times they will ship it from US.
And you need to have the hardware to
support.
Yeah.
So those were the days. So we survived. That's interesting. That is what I will say. Well, like the students of today, we have big ambitions and all.
Yeah.
Every day we lived, we enjoyed, we actually lived our passion. So that is how
I think this is something that I've seen, the ability to follow instinct. Even though you would probably have more responsibilities than the generation that has today, but we are much more ambitious because we compare our journey with others a lot. I think that is something that restricts us from leaving the job without knowing where we are heading next. But I think we'll learn more about it as we go. So I want to now understand, software is a very different space, right? And a product manager role of sorts, where you're understanding the requirement, creating a product, getting a feedback, is a very interesting and a different journey from what actuarial industries. So firstly, how did you learn about this profession? What was the opportunity in Kochi that?
There was no opportunity it was just a an article on Economic Times that actually changed my course of action. I told you I was so fond of all this analytics and all.
Yeah.
So one day I opened the Economic Times paper. On the middle page, there was a small article about actuarial provision. So, like you said, it was Actuarial Society of India.
Yeah.
By the time I already had an email ID, which also was not all that common. I am in the habit of doing all odd things. When actuary came to me like an odd thing.
You do vibe coding?
So now I don't take time. So I think in 1999 or 2000, when this email had come, I just created an email ID. Still use that email ID.
The same
email ID. So I wrote a mail to ASR.
Right.
I said, I am an engineer. Can I write this exam? There was no entrance at that.
Yeah.
So I had to straight away. I got a one-line reply telling that engineers are eligible to apply. Like I said, the only thing that why I became an actuary is because I wrote two papers, 101 and 102, I think. And both I passed.
What are the translations in today's terms? 100 and 100?
All those compound interest.
Right. So that is CM bicycles and CM1 and CS1.
So I passed both papers. So that gave me a confidence that even after 10 years of writing my last engineering exam, I can still pass that exam.
How did you prepare for it? I'm sure there was no material back then.
No, they sent me those books, the essays and material.
Right, okay.
Students, and at that time, you don't get in soft copy.
Yeah.
They send you in parcel, body. Like, I think only advice I give I have many student members and even my own team is there. Only advice I give them is that you should sit and study every day.
Yeah.
And I have a habit of doing that. Even I do it today. I don't write any exam. What I tell them is that if you have brushed your teeth, you should have studied for one hour. If you don't want to study for 1 hour, then don't brush your teeth.
Yeah. It's like sharpening your mind every day.
Yeah. So every day. So that is how I prepared. By the time I had family responsibilities and other things so it was not easier to sit and study. So my morning was my time. So still I get up at 4:30 4:30 a.m. So that 1 hour I get. Still I get that time. Today also I got up at 4:30 in the morning. Why? So that has become my habit. Whatever productive work that you want to do, I do it at that. For many years it was studies.
Yeah.
It was the subject that exam and all.
How did your family react to all the decisions that we feel is very radical, moving careers or switching cities? How did your family respond to these decisions?
If I say that nobody was bothered, when I left my job also, my parents did not say anything. Recently, I told my friend that probably they didn't have any expectation from me.
And you ended up becoming an appointed actuary. That's nice.
Entrepreneurship venture, when it failed, we all lost money. I just went and told my wife. We went to from Cochin, so we went to the Fort Cochin beach. It was 1st of January. We went to the beach and said that whatever I have done today is paid. I lost my money. Our father gave me my money. That is also lost. So now I need to think of something long term.
Even today, we have that luxury of doing or taking action. Is just that we are a little too worried about the perception that we hold of ourselves more than others. I think if you take risk, others will definitely support you. How do you firstly define what is general insurance and then what is a insurance?
People ask me this question. I say there used to be a calendar of one of the government PSU insurance companies. Prithvi, Agni, Jal, Akash, Sabki Suraksha Hamare Paas. So, whatever things are there in this world, that all comes under your governance. That's why we call it as general insurance.
Yeah.
Other than human life, because cattle also falls under general insurance. Right? I can't say just life. Other than human life, everything falls under general insurance. So our canvas is such broad. We can create products, we can design products, we can price products. We even insure the satellites. Even the satellites are insured. Couple of PSU, PSGICs actually insure those satellites. Best example or to tell people is the health and motor, because most of them have at least a motor policy. Even a scooter, there is an insurance. Health is becoming popular now. but health insurance is not all that penetrated like motor, because motor is a mandatory insurance. So motor people will.
How does like pricing work for insurance, like in space technology, where the claims data is not sufficient for you to price proper? So how does the entire process of pricing these policies look like?
We have to look it from the fundamentals. What is data giving you? Data is actually helping you to make some valid assumptions about the product that you are going to price. You think how 20 years back, when only ISRO was launching this thing, how did they price it?
Yeah.
So what is the probability? You have to go by, in technical terms, there was one term which we used to use some time back, that's known as PSA, probability statistical analysis. So what is the probability of failure?
Right.
So when ISRO launches a satellite, you go and ask them. I don't know whether it is accessible or not. I'm not talking about the practical things. Okay. You ask them. They will be doing a probability statistical analysis of how this. I have done this for my nuclear power plant. I was into reactor control design. Okay. I have worked on the reactor control. We have done this for that. So what is the probability of failure? That you have to assess.
This is the data that has been given to you by the person that you are insuring. So can you rely on that data? Like, how do you assess whether the data is right in the first place?
See, I don't know whether you are asking me about insuring an ISRO satellite or a private
any product that has very less data available in terms of claim.
As on date, I don't think that's a problem. You have a lot of collateral data that is available. Proxy data this. You just go and search internet, or you see how many launches have happened in India, if I am interested, and how many have failed, how many have succeeded. What is the timeline? What is the rate of success 20 years back, and what is the rate of success today? Today we have more successes because we are all matured in that space.
Right. What is the difference in insurance and reinsurance, and how has GIC evolved over time?
GIC, after the, I think 2000, when this general insurance space was opened up. Prior to that, GIC was the holding company of the four general insurance. There's National, New India, and the rest. After that, GIC became an independent entity, and GIC became the national reinsurer. Okay, so GIC has come a long way in. We were the only national only reinsurer in India. So even today, we have about 30-40% market share. So now you have all these foreign reinsurers coming to India. The reinsurance is different ball game.
What is the fundamental difference? Insurance, like general insurance and reinsurance, because ultimately the core concepts remain the same, that you're figuring out the price and you are pricing that ultimately. So what is the core difference there?
See, reinsurance, reinsurance is you are basically providing the capital for the reinsurers. Whatever you say, all the concepts are the same. But why do you need reinsurance? Suppose I get 100 rupees premium. I know with certainty that my claim is going to be 80 rupees. And 10 rupees, 15 rupees is my expenses, commission, all the. I have 5 rupees for it. I won't have for insurance. That's all. Yeah. All profitable.
It's already capped.
Of course, there are different reasons why people go for. So, but you need capital, because ours is a very capital intensive industry. So reinsurers basically provide you capital because you are writing on their capital. That is how the whole reinsurance is structured. So whether it is quota share or it is excess of loss treaty or even a stop loss treaty, what a reinsurer essentially providing is the
ability to
write more risks and take more risks.
Right. So how much influence does reinsurance put to the pricing of general insurance, or is there no influence per se?
You have to see it from two perspectives. One is the quota share. So quota share, what happens is that insurer does his pricing independently. He goes to the market, sells the policy, then comes to the reinsurer for a quota share. So ideally, I don't for a quota share treaty, I don't have an underwrite. I don't do pricing per se. Pricing is done by all these 30 insurance companies. Their own actuaries sign it off. So they are actually bringing me some business. Am I willing to accept that at that cost? That's the first question, and reinsurance underwriter has to answer. Okay, suppose he says loss ratio 70%. Do you agree that it is going to loss ratio? So one advantage is that when 10 people come to you, you get a cross section of the investment. There's a lot of diversification. That's the insurer gets a lot of diversification. So suppose one company's loss ratio is 90%. Say for example, you take motor. One company loss ratio is 90%, another is 110%. What you get is a weighted average loss ratio that is coming. Only tools that a reinsurer will have in hand when the underwriter is pricing a treaty or supporting that particular reinsurer, he'll tell you, suppose I'm not happy with your loss ratio. What I will say, I'll put some loss caps. Okay. I will say, okay, whatever be your loss ratio, I will pay you only up to 110 receipts. I won't pay you.
Yeah. For a general insurer, reinsurance is a way to write more business to cap down their risk. How would a reinsurer cap their risk?
We do something known as retrocession.
Retrocession.
Okay. Retrocession is reinsuring the reinsurer. That's known as retrocession. Okay. And retrocession usually happens at the excess of loss item. Okay. So that is usually an excess of loss treaty. So I would assess what could be my thing, and I will spread it over the world.
Right.
So I don't reinsure it in India. So all our reinsurers are at different parts of the world. So GIC is about 25-30% of GIC business is international risks. Okay. We write about in 120 countries. I'll give you a classic example. The unfortunate Air India accident that happened last. You say roughly about 5,000 crores is the total.
I think it was precisely that. I think that.
About 5,000 crores is the total damage, liability plus hull plus everything. So that loss, aviation is such beautifully structured. No company may not have an exposure of more than 100 crores. It is an advantage as well as a disadvantage. Suppose say as a reinsurer, Indian reinsurer, the accident happened in India, is an Indian aircraft. Most of the people who are traveling were Indians. All this put together. Suppose I don't want to tell you a number, but suppose my share of the loss is say 200 crores, for example. From where does that 4,800 crores come? It is spread across the world. Right. There may be a reinsurer sitting in Japan. Right. Who may still be paying 50 crores.
Right.
That is one part of the coin. Second part of the coin is any accident happening anywhere in the world, I'll have a share.
Right. And this is going to be independent use, like case by case basis. Like it has been underwritten. It's not like a general treaty.
It is underwritten.
How is the Indian reinsurance market different from the global reinsurance market?
I won't say there is not much of a difference, because we are all part of the same ecosystem.
Okay. So the policies, the practices, there are
globally accepted practices. There are brokers are there, international brokers are there who bring you the business. Only difference is that all the claims handling and premiums and this thing is actually outsourced to the broker. So broker does it for you.
Right.
You may not know from where you are getting the business.
Right.
Say for example, you are getting something from Korea or South Africa. So the broker will bring you the business, and the claims and everything is settled through the broker.
Got it. Are you guys set up in GIFT City as of now?
We have for almost 10 years or so, we have a GIC as an office in GIFT City.
So already we are seeing a lot of insurance companies coming to India, but it'll only expand the reinsurance companies coming to India. Yes. How do you think that the entire GIFT City as a proposition is for the global reinsurer market? Like, is it worth coming to India for them, or it's too much of a...
See, as of now, the Indian reinsurance market is 1 lakh crores premium. Out of that, currently about 35% or 35 to 40% is PH. So rest is actually global reinsurers.
Right.
Whether they are the foreign reinsurance branches, popularly known as FRBs in India, like the Munich Re, Swiss Re, they are all branches. Foreign reinsurance are branches.
Yeah.
or the CBRs. CBR is known as cross-border reinsurer. Anybody sitting in, so they are not regulated in India. So they can come and still take business from India. That's known as CBRs. Now, with the GIFT City opening up, they are all, what they are doing, they will have a presence in India at the GIFT City. But they are going to write the business from this 1 lakh crore as of today. So, say for example, I'm only talking about the general insurances, non-life business. Life is different. Life is entirely different ball game. And the size of the life reinsurance market is quite small, because life insurance is more about the investment.
The ceiling is also capped.
Yeah. So only that mortality part. Yeah. You are an actuary, so I would only that is reinsurance. The investment part doesn't form part of any reinsurance. Yeah. So only
your FAR is 70.
Yeah, only the mortality part. So life for the this is quite small. Non-life, you say now Indian reinsurance premium is going to be about 3.5 lakh crores. So out of that, we currently, last year it was on 92 something. This year we expect that you will cross 1 lakh crores. I think all those people who have set up, they would have just testing the offers.
Right.
They are still not into writing the business.
Right.
So they were all, in technical terms, we'll say they will all have a follow-onship. So there will be a leader.
Right.
And they will follow. Say, I'll take 2% share.
Right.
I'll take 5% share. I'll take 1% share. So from that, they will know how this business is performed.
Got. Eventually, we see that this would increase.
This will increase. When we say insurance for all by 2047, this entire ecosystem is going to grow.
Even pool will increase itself.
Yeah, pool will.
We've come a long way when it comes to the entire underwriting process, claims process, and the entire space itself. In the last 3-4 years, we've seen insurance industry grow and evolve a lot. How do you see technology playing a role in general insurance as well as the reinsurance market in various aspects, from the perspective of someone who's understanding AI and is threatened by the use of AI in this industry?
I actually gave a classic example when I was discussing internally in GIC. See, you have to see, I'll give you an reinsurance example rather than giving an insurance example. Now, how we do, so suppose you are the sedan company, you are a direct insurer, one of the 30-35 companies in India. I am you are reinsurer. So our all Indian contracts, Indian treaties start on 1st of April. So the negotiations start with February and March. So you do some POPAC. You expect to write, say for example, let us put the numbers. We are actuaries, so let's put and then in terms of numbers. So you have 1,000 crores portfolio, which you want to reinsure with me. It's not your portfolio that you have. It is a portfolio that you intend to write next week. Right. So I think 1st April. Right. So the regulation now requires that your reinsurance is in place before 1st of April. Okay. So you should already have the reinsurance in place before you write the business. Right. So what will happen is in February or March, you approach GIC and say that this is boss, I'm going to write this business. This is my product. This is my historical experience. And this is the experience that I expect in the coming year. You give me a good rate.
Right.
How much, whatever it may be. It could be a quota share, it could be an excess of loss, whichever it. So you give me a good rate. How much commission you will pay? Sedan commission you will pay. Are you going to put any? So the terms are discussed. So before discussing these terms, you come with your homework. And before you come, you send me your data pack.
Okay.
So there is something else, data pack.
Yeah, for your page.
So you will send me your data pack. So with that data pack, my underwriter does some homework. Like we both sit across the table. Right. You say, I will have 70%. I will say, how can it be 70%? I'll be 80%. Right. Ultimately, we arrive at certain terms.
Right.
Now think of that. The first step is going to be using AI. You use the word AI. So using AI, now it's going to be, so what you are essentially doing is you are analyzing some 10 years data or 5 years data that you have with you. Then you are coming up with your own terms, your expected terms from GIC. GIC also, with the data pack you have given and your historical data you have given to me, I'm also coming with an expected terms. We all sit and we arrive at agree. So now with AI, what you are going to do, you are going to apply AI and come with the same treaty terms.
Right.
I'm also going to apply AI on the data that I have. It will be more finer. It will be more. 25 years back also, we used to reinsure.
Yeah.
How we used to reinsure? We used to sit, we used to take calculator, we used to see what will be the rate on line I will give, how much commission I will give, how much was it. We used to. Then we all moved to Excel.
Right.
We all moved to some other software.
Right.
Now we are going to move to AI. For me, it's not a threat. So I said, another 2 years down the lane, there won't be anybody sitting on the table discussing this. There will be 2 AI agents.
Right.
Your agent and my agent
is better than yours.
better than yours. And we arrive at this thing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this needs to be reinsured.
Yeah.
Whether you do it using commutation table, whether you do it using Excel or the calculator or your computer or your software,
Right.
this needs to be reached.
Right. One thing that has been very fundamental since we've discussed that we moved from calculator to Excel, that itself would have been a progression similar to what we feel during AI. And AI would become mainstream. It's just that the models are going to become much fine-tuned, and anyone who knows how to basically understand the tools would still be performing exactly that same tasks of understanding the business, putting forward a negotiation terms, and then ultimately getting a better deal for the company, whichever side you are on the deal. But it's essentially AI is just going to be used somewhere in private from a reinsurance perspective. So it's not something to be threatened. It's more to be.
See, for me, it is a tool. I don't know what will happen 10 years from today. I don't. But as of now, AI is my friend. AI is my tool that I can use. So I have a limitation with doing analysis. Say, for example, all the best of my knowledge and best of my skills, I can see some 15 parameters of a treaty. AI can give you 150 parameters.
Probably more.
So for me, it is a tool. So I should be using it.
How do you think GIC, or for that matter, any PSU and public companies adopt to such technologies which are already at such a pace that every 6 months there's something?
They may not be adopting technology at every 6 months or even an year. But I won't say that, of course, there is a systemic lethargy. It is not the lethargy because there are so many restrictions. I want to use a software. You are a private company. You will call 3 vendors and I can't do that. I have a process to follow. It's a procedural delay too. But other than that, I don't find any, at least in the company that I am working, I don't find any reason that we are a government company. We don't need that. We actually do that. We already are discussing on AI. We have already internally we are believing. January we had a one full day training in Lonavala where all the senior management has gone and attended a AI training just for one day, including the CMD.
Right.
We are doing it, but there is a delay because we are not as fast as any private company could.
And the process is different.
The process is different.
There's auditing in every step as you move.
Yeah.
How does GIC hire actuaries? Like what are the process and what are the skill sets that GIC? I'm not specifically talking about actuarial, but any professional in finance who's trying to get into this.
GIC has the government company, government PSU, they follow the government rules. We can't deviate from that. There is a process, only the recruitment process that happens. Every officer is recruited.
Right.
Only for actuarial candidates, because the skill set is very niche, very much different and niche. We have been following a little different. It's not different from the earlier one, even then when the general recruitment also, officer recruitment also, there are specifically earmarked vacancies for maths and stats candidates with actuarial papers and all. Other than that, because that we had a demand, what we used to that you have gone for something more as apprenticeship. Okay. So apprenticeship is like, we'll say that you would have passed on a minimum for 4 or 5 papers. I don't know exactly what the last one was. You have to do a minimum of 1 year apprenticeship. During that period, apprenticeship is for 2 years. And during the 2 years, you have to pass some minimum papers, some 2 papers or some. So once you have 7 papers or so, you straight away get absorbed as an assistant manager. This actuarial papers and actuarial students actually get an opportunity to skip that all India recruitment process.
Right. So if someone wants to probably get into a government job, I think actuaries gives you a very good path to it.
Well-
I would want to understand, like, how do you see actual profession beyond insurance? So we feel that the skill sets are highly transferable across the places, and you sit at a position of an appointed actuary, which is as close to a CEO in a way. So you have a say in the board. But why do we not see actual professionals in boards beyond insurance companies?
See, demand supply gap is how many actuaries are there who are working. Even we find it difficult to get even actuaries for insurance. Yes, itself. So in that case, I don't know how it will get penetrated to but there are people who are working. I know people. I don't want to name that. I have interacted with a person who is working in Australia also. We had invited him for one of the actuarial conferences or something. Who is into electrical power distribution. Interesting. So there is one guy, one actuary who is into gaming. Okay. Even I know people in India, actuaries in India, who are into gaming.
That's interesting.
During the COVID time when this GCA was not happening, we had done the virtual actuarial conclave.
Right.
So we had invited these two people who had come virtually into our events and actually we had taken a session. Our own friends in India who are into different fields other than insurance, pensions, or even finance. I would say leave the BFSI space.
Okay. In a boardroom, as an appointed actuary, how do you define your role as an appointed actuary when you are in a board with a CEO and the board, with the board of directors?
See, I have taken a totally different approach. I had the privilege of getting into this industry when all these things were happening. This is 2010, 2011. So that was the first time when prior to that, appointed actuaries were just consultants who used to come and sign off the reserves.
Right.
Of course, they were members of mainly invitees to the board. But I think 2010, 2011 is the time when all this economic capital, financial condition report, everything got introduced. So I had the privilege of just opening an Excel sheet and preparing all the FCR tables on my own. So I don't know whether you know it or not. The FCR tables that we submit now is a much shorter version. When FCR was introduced, we used to have some 2,500 tables, which we used to prepare in Excel. So I had the privilege of doing that, preparing on my own. So that is of people who have come into this industry at that point in time. So of course, initially when I started Actuarial, I was into pensions valuation scale, right? Then I came into general insurance. So what I would say is that in this experience, what I have seen, actually put in within quotes, is not a technical person.
Okay.
When I do my reserving, I think of this reserve from the point of view of the investor. Like, I have nothing to do for the investor. I am, as an appointed actuary, is sitting, the IRDA has appointed me as a part of the policy holder protection. That is why the appointed actuaries are there. I need to ensure the solvency of the company. I need to ensure that the proper results are kept. I need to sign off them. That is my regulatory work. But nothing prevents me from taking the big picture. Because after the board meeting, being a listed company, we have something known as the investors call. So there will be a call where all the investors will come, where we attend. So I know person who is providing you capital, who has bought a share in the company, how he looks at the company.
Yeah, he would want to pressure you to leave reserves.
No, see, that is a part of your own. See, whether reserve you release the reserve, you add the reserve, there should be logic to it.
Yeah.
I can't say that I think
that is ultimately the role of an appointed actuary.
So hold that. Yeah, I have a conviction on the numbers. What are numbers? Numbers are just what you say, just figures that you write on. There is a conviction behind it. Suppose that is very important. Only if you have that conviction, you can survive in this.
And that's what differentiates an appointed actuary and an EI.
I always say, see, what happens is there is a cat event in it. Somewhere in the California, so this camp called as WSCRs, we have an exposure. How am I going to quantify that exposure? I need to keep a result. By the time the data flows through all the brokers and things and all to GIC, it will take time.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't wait for that. I have a conviction. And I would say this reserve of 100 billion or whatever it is kept, it's because of so and so, so and so is. Happy to be proven wrong.
Of course. But you need to be prudent.
Or SA3 papers that we write. People say you need to have a 360-degree view of the job. It is not just, you are not a person, you have, when you write an SA3 paper, you are not someone who is applying a formula over there.
Yeah.
It's not that you are given some numbers, you remember a formula, apply to that and this is the result. You have to take a 360-degree. The 360-degree view actually takes into consideration the investor, the shareholder, the management, the regulator, the government, obviously the policy. You need to cultivate that thinking.
Right. You have published a paper on how to save for retirement without knowing the mortality, what mortality implies. I want you to quickly describe what.
At that time, I had not studied CT4. So I didn't know that a concept like mortality exists also. I'm not from this industry, as I told.
But yeah,
I'm an engineer and I'm a software guy. So, but I was very fond of, there was one ad of insurance company that I liked them. It was said, Sir Utha ke Chio. So I thought maybe I will get into this profession and make everybody save for their pension. Everybody will have a good retirement life. So with that concept I came. So I wrote a paper and this. So not without knowing mortality, without knowing that even mortality, there is a concept like mortality even exists.
right.
Later on only I studied the CD4. Is existing. I was very fond of, that's what I said. All those are my, I again use that word, my utpatan instincts, to doing some experimenting way. So somewhere at that time, even internet was not all that popular. Somehow I came to know that there is something known as global contrast. First time happening in Bombay. Prior that it used to happen in Delhi. So I'm 100% sure that they will throw that paper into the dustbin. I still wrote a paper and I sent it to them. That is how it happened. All those.
Hello. So I'm Ritik and this is Rudra. And it's just to end it on a good note, sort of we wanted to have a student perspective, kind of a rapid fire question on with you.
Yeah.
Let's just begin with something simple, say having more years of experience or having cleared the papers faster. In your opinion, which one has more weightage?
I would say experience. Papers are also important. See, your actuarial journey is not just about fuzzy equations. Okay. It is about how you are going to manage the position that you are in. That it could be a pricing actuary, it could be a reserve, it could be an appointed actuary, or just be an actuarial analyst in a company. So your papers are helping you to do that job. But just by passing papers, you can just sit at home and study and pass the paper. That will not give you those skill sets that are required to do justice to your book.
So, sir, now coming to the second question. One thing you wish someone had told you on your first day as a professional actuary?
I would say follow your passion. That is what I have already been doing. That is how I came into this profession. Don't run behind money or packages or they do come to it. So I would say sure and actually be an actuary first, then all other things later. Sometimes many people I have seen forget that thing, that role. We are not employees, we are professionals. Look from a doctor's perspective. When a patient comes to him, he sees the patient. It is his professional responsibility to treat that patient. Nothing else matters. Oh, that is the classic example we see. He treats you. We have to take that approach in our professional. This is my role. You have a role. Whatever may be the role. Could be a board role, appointed actuary, whichever may be the role. Could be the smallest entry-level analyst in an actuarial department. We are given a role. We should do full justice to.
So, is there something, from your first role that still sticks with you? Like today, you'll be like, okay, that's a learning I got from maybe some of your days when you were a software engineer. But that learning still sticks with you even in the actual doing or even in your day-to-day actual work, so to say.
See, personally, I learn every day. That's the idea. I learn from all the experiences, all the interactions they have. Yeah. I don't differentiate that other than the textbook learnings, like you said, actuarial or this thing. I'm an engineer, so I always believe that engineering is an approach. So how I approach a problem, when I go to the office every day, I get a lot of problems to be solved. My team members will come, my CMD will call me, or my CFO will call me. They said, sir, this is the problem. So how do you approach that problem? Engineering has helped me with that. Okay. So I always believe engineering is an approach.
It's amazing.
This is how you approach a problem. If you are given a problem is not, I'm not telling it's a big problem. It's something you come to the office, somebody will call you. Or your team member will come running and say that, sir, 80% loss ratio, 90% loss ratio, okay? Your pricing team will come and say that we are not able to sell it in the market. We are highly priced. You have to approach that problem. That you get that is your experience.
If you don't mind, could you share a problem that you've faced like recently in this aspect?
A CEO largely looks from a shareholder's perspective. Okay. CFO looks from a balance sheet perspective. What will an actuary look at? Will actuary look at from a reserving perspective? Will he be looking at a pricing perspective? Will he be looking at the capital's perspective? I would say these are all different parts of his role. You have to look at from an entire perspective. You have to look at from the company's perspective. There are times when you will have to keep a particular reserve which would have impacted the loss ratio of the company, which would have reduced the profit. But you stand by it because it is needed. Because it is needed. That is what I would say. Actuary is sort of an all-rounder. You have to look at the entire, the 360-degree view of you have to create that, cultivate that habit of looking at it. See, I'll give you a classic example. You don't have a security guard in the office. Is it a risk? Is it going to impact your capital? It will impact. Very small things that you do, it will impact your capital. To what extent is a different question. But you have to look at that way. Sometimes you have to call up the management and say that, no, this is not my role. Still, I feel this will have an impact on the risk. Here, enterprise risk management. It's not one risk. You are the entire gamut of the risk that you are, or the company is paid. Am I right? We have studied AI, but
What's that one quality that makes an actuary average or great?
Average or great. Perfect, there is nothing known as perfect. You may be perfect from the view of the regulator, but you may be imperfect from the view of the management. So, it is actuary, appointed actuary is more of an managerial, and you are just not managing your subordinates, your team members. You are you are managing the regulator, you are managing the CEO, you are managing the chairman, you are managing the shareholders, all these things, because you have the 360-degree view of the company. Very few people have got the 360-degree view of the company. So there is nothing like best, or I would say maintain good relationship with people. There are you will get many opportunities to fight with people. Obviously, for many reasons, I will use those things. Have a very good relationship with people. That's what I meant by managing. Sir. You have a good rapport. I would say a good rapport. Good rapport with the regulator. Good rapport with the British book. Good rapport with your team. If you miss that, we can be biased in one. You should be a very stable person in that.
Thank you so much, Satish sir, for taking out time on a holiday. We absolutely loved the entire session. I personally learned a lot, and I'm sure the listeners and the readers will also enjoy the entire session a lot. I hope that we'll continue to keep engaging, and thank you again for giving us your time.
Thank you, Ahmad. Happy to be with you and discuss with you. We are all happy to engage with you and help your students wherever possible. You let us know. Thank you so much.